Welcome back. So, we probably have you on the edge of your seat.
Short chairs.
The edge of our, I'm on a drummer's chair. It's the only time that I get to feel cool.
I am too, but I've spent half my life on one of these, so it's a comfortable place for me.
So, here we are in New York, the city of all things kind.
Right.
And where everybody's got impeccable manners.
We're going to get hate mail from New Yorkers now.
Well, last I checked, all of our realtors are in Utah.
Right.
Some will be from New York, but hey, you guys can send me the hate mail. Feel free. So here we are, and this New Yorker has been respected.
Right. So part of my respect for him is that I actually responded. So instead of just kicking him out, right? Had I said, "You're being rude, you got to leave," or called security, or let people jump up on the desk and beat on him, or whatever could happen, right? Had I done that,
get him,
sick him. Had I done that, that's actually not respect. That's the opposite, because it says that what is a big deal to him is not a big deal,
and that he and his concerns are meaningless, and he should be just thrown out. His
concerns are meaningless, and he's not okay to me. So we have to respect. The best way to respect is to actually respond. It's the second of the two R's. Remember, we're talking about respect, respond, redirect. So we have to respond. Now, there are several ways I could have done it, right? I could have told everybody to jump on him. I could have kicked him out of the class. But my response has to be to feed him the thing that he's hungry for. And we mentioned that a little bit in the past segment. What he was hungry for was not information. So when things got to a point where I had to intervene, I think his name was something like Russ. I said, we'll call it Russ, right? Most of the Russes I've known are a bit combative. Okay. All of the Garths I know. Anyway, I said, now Russ, you've made some comments for the last few minutes, and I can tell you're dealing with something that's really, really frustrating to you. Just saying really, really frustrating to you began to defuse the situation. And he said, well, yeah, all I know is it doesn't work the way you're saying. I said, how does it work for you? Well, all I know is we tried what you were saying, and we did this, and we did this, and we did this code on the page, and we did this thing, and we lost all this information, and nothing worked for 2 days, and my boss got really mad, and I called your organization, and I talked to my account manager, and he couldn't help me. I talked to engineering, and they couldn't help me, and he went through this long list, this litany of all the things he tried. And he said, and we were going to cancel our contract. And the only reason we didn't is because we were told we couldn't cancel our contract until I came to training with you.
So, and you might think that this is actually a story about a programmer in New York. This is a story about how to deal with your listing clients. Your buyers, the sellers on the other side, the home inspector. They never cause any problems.
Or spouse, or partner, or teenager, because teenagers are a piece of cake.
Right. So let's change this setting just a little, put a tweak on it, and say, okay, now we're back in the presentation.
Okay.
And this guy has already talked to the money person, and that guy's saying, hey, anybody who walks in here who wants 6% from you is evil and a pirate, and you shouldn't listen to him. Mm-hmm. So that's already happened. Mm-hmm. And now you walk in, you're the realtor,
right,
and you've respected what he has to say,
mm-hmm,
and we're avoiding just throwing facts at him.
Right.
How do you respond to that guy?
So the first thing I might do is an initial shot at what I believe the issue to be. So we're going to pretend that my assessment is that this person feels threatened because they're short on funds. They may be upside down in the house they're in, and they're trying to figure out how to get the best deal, and they think you're going to somehow pull the wool over their eyes and make them pay for something they don't need.
Yeah, right? So here I am. I'm $1,000. I've got $100 in my checking account. I've got, I don't know, let's say $20,000 of equity in my home, and I'm thinking that $20,000 of equity is all going to get sucked up into the real estate commission. Mm-hmm. And that's what I, the buyer, am thinking at the moment. Mm-hmm. And let's make you the realtor with the big questions to ask and answer.
Right. And sometimes they may be, I don't know, worried enough that they are reluctant to answer questions. So I would probably walk with them in the direction they're going a little bit already. Yeah, the creation of harmony was to simplify the process and make sure that you get value for every single dollar that you spend. Is that how you see it? So there's my question. Is that how you see it? So I'm walking with them into, Homie's done a kind of a cool thing. Is this what you see? And they will reveal to me why they're saying what they're saying. They'll say, well, yeah, because I know that they don't charge commissions and stuff.
Yeah, let me put myself in that role.
Okay.
And this is hard for me to do because this is not what I believe.
That's why it's called role play, not role assumption.
Yeah, there's a reason I'm an engine nerd and not something cool like a musician or an actor. But here I am thinking, okay, I've got this very limited amount of money, and here's this guy, he wants to take it all from me.
Right.
And so I've got my guard up, I got my sword out, and I'm ready for you to raise yours.
Right. And I didn't raise it.
You didn't raise it.
No. I actually held yours.
Well, that's disarming.
This should be called How to Mess with People's Heads 101. Yeah. It is disarming, and that's the perfect choice of words, because that's exactly what we're doing. So we're taking this antagonistic relationship and we're just taking it away. It's really hard to disarm somebody if they're holding the same sword that you're holding. How do you do that, right? How do you fight against somebody if they're on your team?
And so your response to that, and you haven't heard any of the voices in my head,
right?
But you know that I'm being very resistant, and I've got a little bit of an attitude, and I'm a little angry, and I'm still expecting you to put up your sword,
right?
So the first thing you said you did was tell me.
Yeah, I didn't counter. So my response did not counter what you were saying. If I had countered what you were saying, especially with information, it actually has the opposite effect of what we want, because it lets that antagonistic barrier come up. Now we're on two different sides, and I would have to try and argue someone in to my point of view.
Which never happens.
There's a really interesting thing, and we'll talk about this maybe in another session. I actually do whole seminars on this. But there's an interesting mental shortcut that people go through. It's called a confirmation bias. You can look it up on Wikipedia or something. It's fascinating stuff, but it's what I believe can become such a strongly held bias in my mind that everything I hear afterward, I process mentally as evidence of what I already believe. Evidence that I'm right. Never happens.
That never happens in politics, especially.
Never happens in politics, religion, parenting. Never happens. But it theoretically could happen. No, the deal with confirmation bias is that people will have this held belief. So if a person comes at you about the homie thing, for example, they may have a strongly held belief that commissions are evil and that realtors are out to get them, and this is all a bad idea. If you argue with them and become their antagonist, all they hear is like Charlie Brown's teacher, wah, 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 right? All they hear is a bunch of stuff that their mind processes as proof that I'm right. See, here I am talking to a realtor, and they're trying to sell me snake oil right now.
Yeah, true.
So we can't respond by countering. We have to respond by walking with them in the direction that they were facing, which just really messes with them.
And you responded by basically, I'm going to try and summarize what I heard you say. You responded by saying, "I understand that you feel this way." Is that correct? Or
sure. I even began with, he's done a good thing, because what they're trying to do, and then I described in my potential buyer's words, right? Or what I think those words might be, what homie is trying to do, and then I followed up with a question to try and gather more information. I said, so they're trying to make it so that you get the best value for your dollar. My question at the end was, is that how you see it? Now this person is in a position where the antagonism is gone, and they're going to say, well, yeah, because. It's only when they say, well, yeah, because, that the thing they're really hungry for comes out.
And now I see that they feel listened to, and we all want to feel listened to. Nobody listens. And so if I perceive that you're listening to me, you were the first person this year, no matter even if it's December, you're still the first person this year who's ever listened to me. So that goes you a long way towards getting my business.
Right. Right. The second thing I can do in a situation like that, the first thing I do is walk with them and ask a question to try and elicit more information.
Okay.
But I'm not trying to reveal what it is they're talking about. I'm trying to reveal what it is they're hungry for. Is that how you see it? Was my question that will help them describe how they feel, not what they think financially, right? So that's the first thing I'm going to do. The second thing I'm going to do is take the argument away even further by helping them see that we're talking about two different things. For example, if I said, he's done a really good thing because they're trying to make sure that you get maximum value for your dollar, that you're getting the best bang for the buck in the experience, and they eliminate some of the middlemen, and it's very direct and very simple. Is that how you see it? Buyer says, yeah, because, and they describe what they think. And my response might be something like, yeah, that is a really, really good way to do what they're doing. What I do is actually different than that, but there are some similarities. So my job, my career is based on getting you more value than you could otherwise get.
So here I am thinking here, and again, I'm putting myself in the role of the buyer or the seller, and I'm saying, okay, this guy's listened to me. Now I'm willing to listen to him.
Right. Yeah, so then I can say my whole job is to, and I'm feeding the thing he's hungry for, he or she, right? If it's somebody who is hungry for maximum value, I can talk about value. If it's somebody that's hungry to be listened to, I'm listening to them. If it's somebody who thinks that they want to do most of their business online, and they start saying, well, I like the technology behind it, we can do that same kind of thing. In fact, we can do most of this remotely if you'd like. Mm-hmm. Feed them what they're hungry for.
Those questions that you are asking them gives them the opportunity to tell you what they're hungry for.
Yeah, they will reveal what they're hungry for. And that's what you have to feed them. I'm telling you, if you feed them anything else, it won't.
And I have to mention, I'm building a home right now, and my lovely wife Julie is, this is her gig. It's her princess castle. She's making the decisions.
She's gonna bling it all up, isn't she?
Oh, she is. So
I know
blingy.
her. She's gonna put glitter all over.
That thing is all glass on one side. We got the lake over there. It's all glass. But she pretty much makes her decisions based on who she likes.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
So anybody who says anything like data-driven decisions, they're just lying. They don't know they're lying. They're not deliberately being untruthful. Uh-huh. But all of our decisions, there's really interesting research that's been done by a number of scientists. There's a great video on YouTube that you might want to watch called Start With Why by Simon Sinek.
Oh, yeah.
People make decisions based on heart. They never make decisions based on information. They think they do. That we use information to justify the decision we made based on how we felt.
Yeah, and then that goes back to confirmation bias.
Exactly.
Let's. This segment's probably gone longer than it should have.
Yeah.
Let's do a break, and we'll come back and hit the next one. Redirect.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Be right back.